Vince McMahon made the call to hire all the new female talent because he believes sex appeal will play a major part in revitalizing the business. There's a number of wrestlers who are upset with some of the perks that the new women have been getting. Some say these new women are having their hotel and rental cars paid for by the company, which even the contracted wrestlers do not. So there's hurt feelings in the locker room. And one source familiar with the scrutiny the new women are under also pointed out that Daniel Puder is going to have an even harder time than past Tough Enough winners because of the $1 million prize. Whoever wins Tough Enough is going to be miserable because they're going to be making a lot more money than everyone else. And yeah, even Al Snow tells the newspaper that Daniel Puder just won $1 million worth of expectations. My goodness, I love the wrestling business. When we're talking about hiring new people, somebody's upset because they got something I didn't get. You don't have to deal with this as much anymore, but I'm sure you remember Vince's initiative. I think you've even said before it was Jim, go hire me athletic tens. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. And I did. And look at the results. It's a matter of selecting the right talents, not just going through and doing like you're going to the grocery store or you're trying to make it to the 10 items or less aisle. That's just not how it works. It's an individual process where you can actually talk to these people one on one, in a privately in a business setting, and get to know them a little bit. Find out what's in their head. Are they dumb as a box of rocks, or do they have something special like Lita? Trish more than Lita. Lita was not as communicative as verbal as Trish. And then we had these wrestling women like Jackie Moore, so underrated. She was as good as we had, period. Uh, and then she just did a great job of working with those other ladies. And it wasn't just in the ring, it was in the locker room and talking to them and critiquing and suggesting and all that stuff. So I what Laurinaitis did to go blanket hire 10 or how many there were was it's next to impossible. It's not even realistic, and the process that was used.
Let's talk about the process that's used to get over the Tough Enough television program.
Hey, whatever happened to Daniel Puder? You know,
He's still around. I don't think he's doing much wrestling anymore, though.
that'd be a good interview for you to do, one of your Conrad interviews.
Do you think he got, with the benefit of hindsight, he got dealt a bad hand?
Yeah, a little. Yeah, bad timing. It's hard to fault anybody, but I thought he had some potential. Quite frankly, he had a great look and tough kid. But I thought that thing was a waste of time at the end of the day.
The
And
entire Tough Enough idea was a waste of time, you thought?
yeah, the $1 million deal was unrealistic and all that shit. It isolated him from the rest of the locker room. Because what other rookie did he have in common with that had won $1 million contract? I don't even remember how Laurinaitis was doing that at that time, not me. So I don't remember how we paid him. Him being Puder, I don't know how we paid him. If it was a week, he got a weekly check to get to $1 million. Was it for 1 year? Was it spread over 2 or 3 years? I don't know. But it isolated him from the locker room and didn't do him any favors. It's kind of the impression you get, Conrad, when you find out one of your teammates, one of your locker guys, one of your fellow workers is taking money out of your bag. You never live it down. And Daniel Puder was never lived down Tough Enough.
Let's talk a little bit about Lance Storm. He's doing some website commentary. He's got a website at the time, stormwrestling.com. And he's admitting that the boring angle that they did with him was one of the two things that he just liked to pretend never happened.
I don't
The
blame
other
him.
was the large penis gimmick. Uh, I'll be honest, I don't even really remember that.
I don't either.
What was your favorite part of the Lance Storm has a giant penis persona?
Nothing.
Hey, let's talk about Ricky Steamboat. It's written here that he had been working a little bit as a road agent, and he was happy and the company was happy and felt like a huge positive because this is a real great wrestling mind, and he's got so much to teach the younger guys. And we know he did this a few times, but he wasn't a lifer as an agent. Why do you think that was? Why does some talent become an agent and it becomes their second career, and maybe it's not for everybody? Why is that?
You could equate it to a songwriter. Every song's not going to be a hit, and some guys are better at cover songs than they are doing original. I think Ricky had still in his mind, he's one of the boys, and but boy, he has great knowledge. He had great knowledge, still does. Good, and now at this stage of his life, his age and so forth, uh, he's the kind of guy that you want to go to a seminar and listen, talk about working, because he was one of the greatest workers ever, period. In any generation, that I've worked in, and this is my 50th year through Disgust, Ricky Steamboat would have been a success, no matter any era, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. Think about it. And he kept putting out those hits, i.e., the great matches. So I'm a big fan of Ricky Steamboat, but I think some guys are cut out to be a coach, and some guys are cut out more to be a player. He was more of a player, but boy, now, like I said, now I think he's just, from what I've heard, his work with the young developmental type guys has been extremely good, really good.
So
I wish we had him in AEW. He could help a lot of our guys.
Ricky and Steve Kern wind up being Johnny Ace hires at the agent position. And man, everybody likes working with him. We even heard in years past that during this experimental time in Ricky's career, where he's being an agent for WWE, he decides to make Rey Mysterio almost like his pet project of sorts. And if you're watching Rey's work here, it does start to make a difference. I do think that Rey really ups his selling in this era and crowd connection.
Yeah.
That feels like that would have been Ricky Steamboat 101 right there.